Welcome everybody to the 2026 FRC First Town Hall. Um, I say 2026 because it's for the next year. As most of you know, um, Michael, Sam, and I are the first or any first employees. And oh, sorry, forgot the agenda. Um, so we're going to start with introducing the district leadership, and then Michael's going to go through the state of the district. I'm going to run you through the event schedule, the schedule notes. So those are important dates or things that are going to happen during the season. And then we have the important dates for the preseason. Um, and then we have um, where this is going to be posted. So where information from the district goes out to, so anybody who's looking knows where to find it. We have some information on grants, and then we'll open it up to questions. So, okay,
I can hop in whenever.
yeah, you could do that.
As Scott was saying a second ago, when it comes to FRC, the any first staff that you're going to interact with the most are probably Michael, Scott, and myself. So Michael's our executive director, Scott is our robotics and logistics director, and I am the communications and advancement director. And then I kind of just put here what that really means for FRC, where Michael is focusing on partnerships and high level direction and ideas and what we should be doing as an organization. Scott is focused on getting the equipment to the events, how the events are actually doing. He's the FRC partner for New England, what used to be called a regional director, but we're not a region, so it's all good. And he puts out the fires when the fires happen, and we hope that there are no fires. And then I'm here for sharing info, putting together the emails, working on the website, caring about our brand, and trying to raise as much money as we can to put on these great events. So that's us. And then we do have almost all of our states are considered by FIRST headquarters to be to be able to have a first senior mentor based on their team count, density, and things like that. So for a number of years, we've had Jamie Luce from Maine, we've had Ken St. Hilaire from New Hampshire, Scott McCullough from Vermont, and Stacy Hilton from Connecticut. So new this year, we have Katie Bonner helping out in Massachusetts. So welcome to Katie. And they're here, they do help all FIRST programs in their states. So if you need something, they're a great resource. They can make a lot of connections. They work really closely with Michael, with Scott, with me. So we're all here to help. And now it's Michael's turn to go into kind of just where we are as a district.
Thanks, Sam, and thanks, Scott. While I'm going to piggyback on that just for a minute. Good evening, everyone. And then part of New England First's uh, connection to communication is through the PDPs, the program delivery partners across the 6 states as well. So whether it's ourselves with a senior mentor, we're constantly talking to the different partners from FLL, FTC, and FRC across the states. So officially, Scott is the PDP for FRC in each of the 6 states, but we blend that all together. But I started just with a little teaser as to how many years people had been volunteering, and I think Marcus did win with 33 years, unless anyone can challenge Marcus Fletcher on 33 years. But that doesn't indicate how many hours Marcus put in over those 33 years, and at the rate of the federal government views a volunteer, and this is not a professional volunteer or a technical volunteer, so it's not an accountant or engineer. It's just if you're going to volunteer your time, I don't know where this goes. I don't think you can actually claim tax back on this. So I I'm I query this number, but $34.79 is the value of your volunteer hours. So you imagine your service over the course of 2025 and multiply it by $34.79. That's that's your worth to your team. That's your value. And so the reason I say that is really just I'm starting with a big thank you, as you've heard me say many times when I'm at events. The thank you has to come first because we're essentially a volunteer organization. We're a volunteer driven organization. Whether you're mentoring, whether you're judging, whether you're refereeing, whether you're putting up an event or tearing down an event, the work you're doing is essentially we wouldn't exist without you. And so there's a tremendous acknowledgement of the work you're doing and the fact that we're all in this from a youth development standpoint, or what the fact are was we are building these leaders and innovators and this social network we're creating to make our young people fail to succeed, to come up with being brave because they've made friends in the tent that you've erected. And I think it's truly fabulous. I saw Lauren Jefferson's face pop up on the screen a minute ago. And Lauren and I were at MIT a couple of weeks ago with, I want to say, 150 first alumni that had gone to enrolled at MIT over the course of the years. So whether they're going to college, whether they're going into an apprenticeship, whether they're going straight into work, we're giving our young people that confidence to go forward and find their next phase. And it was just, I don't know how Lauren felt. Lauren was back at the school she went to, so she was looking at herself. I don't know, what, 5, 10, 15. I'm not even going to say Lauren how many years ago when you were sitting on the other side doing a doing your maths in that auditorium. But the alumni, I realize more and more over the years, it's the alumni that are our future, that are our um, lifeblood. So to you as well as teams, getting your alumni to come back and continue to support your teams. I've seen just some fantastic students and then professionals post student coming back and supporting your team or new teams. So um, just just tremendous. I can go off script really quickly. So this year or this past year we had over 4,000 students participating on 191 FRC teams, recognizing that whether it's incoming class of MIT at 10% or WPI's incoming class at 22%, or going into apprenticeships at Otis or General Dynamic Electric Boat, our students are going out and exploring things. I did talk to a Fox News station in Connecticut a couple of weeks ago, and there was reference to a student that was on a Farmington team a number of years ago that went into AV at on Disney cruise liners because he got a sort of an idea about production in AV. And so the things that our students are doing, which I actually have to grab more of because I really want to know where our students are going, what kind of fun jobs they're getting up to. And then Caroline Marr also shared that we, in our midst, have a monk, which I think is kind of an interesting channel for a an FRC student to go into. There's so many different directions. So looking like the fiscal year 26 growth is probably in the region of 6%. We're tracking 202 FRC teams. And that's important because there's some finances that come to New England First because of that, because we get some support from that. And also it indicates how big our district champs will be. So our district champs is going to be we're going to max out at 100 teams for the district champs this year, which is more or less 50% of the district being invited to participate. And so we're pleased with that. We could always grow. We've got some we've always got some challenges. We've got some funding challenges. We've got some communities without access or as much access. So we're always looking at recruiting new volunteers that are champions in the communities that we need to grow in. And that's part of New England First's job, is to try and find the resources and the mentor and the volunteer champion community to support those teams, because we've noticed, and we talk about this, and you know that there is attrition, particularly if we collectively don't wrap around and support our teams, then the teams are going to fail. It's not going to be easy. Those rookie teams are not going to be able to do it on their own. So I think we had three teams from an attrition rate. I think we had three teams that are not coming back from last year. We had about 12 rookies last year. It looks like we're going to have 11 or 12 rookies this year. So I'm not. I'll be candid. I'm not always interested, or not always focusing on growth. I am more concerned that the teams that are existing continue to exist. And so we don't always hear if a team is going to go away. So I'm always banging the drum and hopeful to sh- to encourage all of the community to share if they believe a team is going under. Doesn't always mean we can assist or help. And there's been times even this year it was like we knew what was happening, but we couldn't really address it. The volunteer part that I reference is just super critical. We need volunteers. We need more volunteers. We had the volunteers from our reckoning. Volunteers donated more than 32,000 hours this year doing keeping the events running, and mentioned that. So that I think that's where that 1,113 number comes from, is the number of hours. So again, it's just these numbers are just sort of give an indication of the value on a collective scale. So you might not necessarily think, oh, the work I do really amounts to very much. I doubt you do think that, because most of the volunteers I've met that mentor and are engaged completely understand how much they're contributing. So I'm not sure that that is necessary. But if you ever doubt your individual contribution, collectively, you're just making this happen anyway. We've got we're beginning to grow our community hubs, and big thanks to WPI, who were probably one of the first community hubs. So putting in a field, allowing teams to come.
Oh, I know, Michael.
There's been a number of other teams that have begun to jump on board. So I think I saw Brendan. So the Toyota hub in Nashua, University of Bridgeport's come online, Yukon Waterbury. Jamie, Luce, and I were up in at Thomas College in Central Maine about a month ago, exploring that. So a dream I have for the future in the 6 states of New England is that we have community hubs, we have access points for teams from FLL all the way through. It's a community access point, and it's going to happen. We're seeing it happen. People are interested in making it happen, and we've got language to make it happen. And I know I saw on various Slack channels the the fact that none of these roofs were working and they were leaking all the time. Well, we'll work on that. I don't think the University of Bridgeport roof will leak. There's too many layers to for it to leak, I hope. But I do understand. Let's find a space to set it up, and sometimes they're just rough and ready. Let's make it work. So again, we do make it work. What Sam and I are doing significantly is writing grants, submitting new industry proposals, trying to make the resources go further, so then we can have some more flexibility to provide a support network, or a rookie grant, or even with these community hubs, find a few $1,000s to support the various spaces. We also just need to continue to tell the first story more broadly as much as we can. Scott will go into this a little bit later, but we're going to have 12 qualifying events, and we have the need to support all of the teams across those 12 events, and that's where the mentorship um, um, conference in August was instrumental as a second year, and I foresee that this standing New England Mentor Conference will carry on. It may broaden, or it may move, or it will continue to seek guidance as to from the community as to what is the best use of this time. But the goal for that is the training and development of mentors and new mentors and existing mentors, so you can progress their teams to be as successful and as stable as possible. So it could be from rookie to elite, and everything in between. So just a very brief vision forward, looking ahead. I mean, our focus is clear. We want to expand access to more students. We want to strengthen the workforce pathway from New England First to jobs in higher ed, and that is through an alumni and engagement. And however we can work with you to help those conversations. And then we want to support and train the volunteer community to make it easier for you, so Rick Vogel can retire one day rather than carry on the rest of his life. And it's true for many of you that are like, who's going to take this program on? And so there does need to be a succession plan, and that's what we hope for. But so finally, and my little screen says this: we're bringing STEM education to everyone. We are building the future, and every single one of you are part of this story. So again, just huge thank you to all, and I will pass on to Sam and Scott. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'll take everybody through the event schedule. So as Michael stated, and as most of you are aware, since First Choice opens tomorrow, yes, tomorrow at noon. We do have 12 qualifiers over 5 weeks. We have 2 qualifiers week 1, 3 week 2, 2 week 3, 3 week 4. This is getting tongue tied, and 2 week 5. All of or 9 of the 12 events are capped at 36 teams, and the 3 remaining events are capped at 32. When you go to select events tomorrow, you're going to see numbers that are lower than that. We hold 4 spaces at every event for rookies and hardship. So I think that's it for that. If we want to move to the next one.
And I just want to highlight that there is a link here for submitting naming ideas for the divisions at District Champs. So we've done this since 2023. And so again, we're looking for people who are from New England, who are alive and who have some connection to the theme of archaeology. And we do our best with the submissions, knowing that maybe you'll get someone who's just lived in New England for a long time, or made a lot of really great discoveries in New England, but actually was born in the Midwest. Like we'll handle it. It'll be fine.
I also want to point out that there is a week off between our last qualifying event and our district championship, and then another week off between district championship and Houston this year. So we're trying to give teams more time to schedule travel.
And there are 2 events here that are Thursday through Saturday. So they are University of Rhode Island and University of Vermont.
Just some special dates to look at during our season. Our season's kicking off a week later than normal due to New Year's being on a Friday, I believe. So daylight savings is going to affect week 1 this year instead of week 2. So the first weekend on Sunday, we will lose an hour. And then, as we have to deal with every year, religious holidays are going to fall during event season. We will make as many accommodations as we can for any team that needs them. Please reach out to myself, Sam, Michael, any of the senior mentors, raise your hand, let us know what you need, and we will take care of it. Between all of the 12 events, we have 420 spots or event plays. That leaves us roughly 20 extra spots for additional plays or third plays. We can raise that number if we need, but that's with 9 events at 36 and 3 events at 32 teams. We don't anticipate offering free additional plays this year. In years past, we've used those to incentivize certain events. We're really hoping we don't have to go that route this year. Sam, you want to take this?
Sure. So all of these the first two links actually go just to the dashboard, which I hope everyone has been able to get into recently when they changed the password single sign-on process. I got in today without it signing me out 20 times. Super excited. So event preferencing opens tomorrow at noon, and this is for your first event. That's going to be open for about a week, and so it closes next Thursday at noon. Then so it's not first come, first serve. You can make your selection on October 2nd in the morning, and it's the same as anybody who goes in tomorrow in the evening. They will rank all the teams randomly and then start giving event preferences out. And then Scott told me today that when it gets into round 2, they just flip that order. So it's literally like an alliance selection. If you were the first to get your event in round 1, you would be the last to get your event in round 2. There's a break in between round 1 and round 2. But then the same process happens for you to get your second event. And then anyone who wants to register for third plays or our really fun teams who register for fourth plays, those will open on October 30th. For anyone who does volunteer or wants to know how to get their team involved, the volunteer registration opens also in the dashboard, but it's on Halloween. And so that's when all the events will be listed and people can start to get their volunteer roles in. It does stay open until events actually happen. There's not really a deadline for volunteering, but if you do want certain roles, they get assigned earlier than others. So like key volunteers, head referees, lead robot inspectors, things like that. So even though event registration starts in the next few weeks, the team payment deadline is November 18th. And once that locks out, that's when we know who we have as, our team count this year. And right after that is when we will know how many teams that New England will get to send on to Houston. So whatever
Yeah.
that number is. Last year was 30, 31.
33, 31, 31, I think you're right.
Okay.
So let's be clear on that. On November 18th, I believe at 5 o'clock, any teams that are registered and secured by that time will count towards the district's number or the district's percentage of the FRC world, and that's how our allocations are determined. So if you could get secured by that date, it really helps us out a lot.
Awesome. And then
So just for clarity again, for me, Scott, I've never. So the more teams that have hit that deadline, the more opportunities teams then will have to go to championships.
Right. So if you took our number last year, we ended up with 191 teams, but at the payment deadline, we only had 185, I believe. So we ended up losing probably 2 spots going to Worlds. So it's very important that we get as many teams as we can registered by that date and secured.
And then, as we've mentioned, kickoff is a little late this year compared to past years. So it is January 10th, which has affected pretty much the entire season. District Champs is about 2 weeks later than normal, and Worlds is 2 weeks later than normal. So when we get into where things are going to be, we have a page on the website at anyfirst.org/teams. And when I create a little post there or an announcement, it also syncs up into there is a mentor Slack, which is a great community resource. So there is a channel in there called FRC-announcements, and it's all synced up. So if I make that post, it goes out. Something that we've been trying for the past few months is an email called Mentor Memos. So the latest one put out the schedule, talked about the mentor conference, talked about an event that the first CEO, Chris Moore, was going to be at, and then talked about local practice fields. So if teams are opening their practice fields, like Michael mentioned earlier, we have a little map that we're adding to over time, and that's also on the website. So you can subscribe to that email or any of our other email types at anyfirst.org/subscribe. You can join the mentor Slack. We have a variety of places that we put events. The main one is just the calendar, but then there is also a page dedicated to the FRC district events, which currently also has the off seasons. So if, there's a number of off seasons in the next month and a half. So they're all listed at the district event page as well. And we have a community calendar. So if any team emails communitycal@anyfirst.org, which is listed on this page, you can put your event onto our website. And there's not really a limit to what those events could be. So your fundraisers, your outreach events, you can put them all onto this community calendar. I like to see it full. It looks really awesome. This town hall recording will go onto our YouTube, and then I will also make a little post on the website, and then that post will end up on the Slack. So it's going to be all connected. The event web pages for last year are currently at this link, anyfirst.org/FRC-events, but I will create the next ones. When the volunteer registration system opens, each event gets its own QR code and quick link to volunteer specifically for that page. And that's when I'm going to start to create the event pages, because otherwise, right now, all everyone knows is the dates and the location. And then we do have our Instagram account and our Facebook account. So if you want to follow us, we like to post photos of teams, robots, outreach, we like all of that. You want me to keep going, Scott?
I can take it. So this is just our grant notes. The major grant that's available right now is the NASA grant. That's available to all New England teams. It's all US-based teams. That has a hard deadline of September 30th, I believe, at 5 o'clock. I don't believe that's a noon.
I think
But
that's like a midnight Pacific time, or like it's like at the
okay.
end of the day, but I'll check and I'll add it to this.
That is definitely a hard deadline, though. If you miss it, you miss it. Other than that, all FIRST grants can be found at firstinspires.org robotics team grants. That link is the easiest way to get there. That runs through all of the grants that headquarters knows about. And yeah, there should be hardship grants available after the NASA grant is awarded, which should be in early November. Headquarters will open up some additional hardship grants that will, I think they're supposed to open on the 13th, and they close on the 18th when when the payment deadline is.
A question for you, Sam. So we will have a New England First support grant for teams heading towards Worlds that will come up. That will go under team grants, correct?
I don't know if we will give that to FIRST to post, or I'm sure we could, but
No, I don't want to do that. So if that is if we just need to create a separate New England First, because it'll be a very local.
Yeah, I think we would add something to our webpage and
Okay.
put that out
Some
internally.
sort of application for the teams that are qualified for Worlds and things like that. Yeah. I think that's it for the official slides and information that we have, but we're here for the next 25 minutes if people have questions or just want to chat. Um, it's all good.
I guess I'll jump in quick before questions start with that kind of thought on grants that um, one of the roles that New England First can play is a grant supporter or a grant depository. So if somebody wished to support teams in a particular way, it might be a rookie team, it might be a rural team, it might be a team in northern somewhere, we can be a facilitator for that. We can be like essentially like a hack club bank if that was a desire, but what you didn't want to go through that conduit. We can spread resources out to the community as well. And the other piece I just wanted to mention in terms of community support and partnerships that we're very happy to work with you if you have an idea or a thought. I was with Lisa Noman and Sam at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and the CEO of the New England Spring and Metal Stamping Association came up to me, and he wants to explore ways to get the students directly involved with advanced manufacturing careers. So I guess there's an area in New England that is heavily involved in springs and metal stamping, and they want more young people to know about them and to be involved. So they're asking us to find out ways to engage students or get them to come in and present what the students are doing, and they share with what they're doing. So in some ways, NESMA, which is New England Spray and Metal Stamping, they've got to start understanding, okay, how do we engage our young people to make it so that they want to be in that industry? So lots of conversations like that. So if you believe you know somebody, you are someone that would like to connect, then let's just have a creative and fun conversation about ways that we can make it happen together. And it might happen, it might not happen. We might not be creative enough, it might be too creative.
If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or just raise your hand and um, we'll
We're also pretty easy to contact on in email.
Yes, the recording for this. So someone asked if we're sharing the presentation, but this recording and the slides will go onto our website. It just has to process onto my, the recording has to process onto my computer, and then I'll start getting it onto YouTube. And then we got the fun question of, can we charter a plane or planes to Worlds?
It has not been easy to to accomplish that feat. Um, we've tried several times and we run into FAA issues where they want names ahead of time and they don't quite understand the flexibility that we don't know who's going to go down there until 2 weeks before they're going. And we have to I think we have to reserve a plane. It's either 4 or 6 months in advance.
It's a good question. I think it's one we're always exploring because I've heard that in some cases that is not necessarily true in terms of that roster of passengers. However, it's never been cost effective. I do believe, I hope it's valuable to the teams that do go, and it's a fairly small part of this audience perhaps, but the the freight management that we sort of participate in. And again, it comes down to incredible volunteers that are on this call that make that happen, that we've been able to facilitate a fairly cost-effective way to get your robots and pits to Houston. So that's one. We're not done. We're not done with the travel piece. It's just never become a cost effective conversation. Not yet, but one time it will. Perhaps. I know there's a few off seasons still coming up. There's Waterfire coming up in Rhode Island and Providence. There's a robot block party in Boston coming up. There's a New Hampshire Governor's Cup coming up. There's a whole pile of Girls Behind the Glass towards the end of the season. There's an awful lot of things still going on. I didn't realize that when the season ends, the official season ends, the unofficial season begins, and it's more intense than the official season. So this is also time to if New England First is not providing you with enough information, or if there's other things that we can explore to make your lives easier, then this is what this is for. Of course, any day an email can be sent to say, what about this? What about this? What about this? And but I do think we are stronger. So when Lauren and I were speaking to these students at MIT, I asked them how many were from New England, and or how many of them were from outside New England, and about 140 hands went up. They were all from outside New England. And so it was like, okay, now we were all part of New England, so there's no getting away. So they're bringing their best ideas from Wisconsin and from Indiana, from Kazakhstan. I don't know where they're coming from. They're bringing their best ideas to help our programs in New England. I've got two students gone to Josiah Quincy Elementary School to help an FLL team in Boston on Thursday. They went. So again, if you've got alumni and you know where they are, they're at the University of New Haven, if they're at University of Southern Maine, and they're sort of itching to do stuff with First Lego League, if they want to get into a public school and help a teacher, we can make that happen. We absolutely can make that happen. This teacher at Josiah Quincy Elementary School said I'd made her year because she was frightened she was going to have to not run the program because she didn't have anyone after school. And these MIT students turned up, and we can do that in other cities and other states easily with your help. Recognizing that they get busy and they get exams, and so it's not sort of every day of the week, but
We had
they're helpful.
about official kickoffs in the chat, if there will be any official kickoffs this year. And they're usually posted to the FIRST website. I'm trying to look at them now. There's definitely one in Vermont at Rutland High School. There is one in Wolcott at Wolcott High School in Connecticut, and there's one at the University of Bridgeport, which is brand new this year. There is one in Marlborough, Mass, one in Revere, Mass. Just slowly poking through the states. New Hampshire will have one in Bedford, and one at Lakes Region Community College in Laconia. And I'm missing Rhode Island and Maine. Rhode Island does not have any official kickoffs scheduled, but Maine has one at USM Portland campus. How do you become a kickoff site? So there is a way to apply, but Scott, I believe the deadline has passed. You're
You're
muted.
muted, Scott.
Yep, I believe that is correct.
So we can try to find the link for or the information for how to apply for next year if anyone is interested, and we'll get it into one place. But yeah, the process is a quick application, and then once you're approved, you get added to the same place that you can go, find First near me on firstinspires.org, and you can look up events and you can look up teams. Events has kickoffs. If they are the type of kickoff that you can have your kit of parts sent to. Now, anybody can technically have an event, but the official ones are the ones where they could be a satellite to pick up your kit of parts.
Which is a cost saving.
Correct. Due to shipping. Granite State is not a week 1 event. That is correct.
It has always been a week 1 since 2003. Shock.
I remember when Hartford had to be a week 1 for the first time, and that was like shock. So
Well, we don't want to keep you beyond your bedtimes, and we'll yield back time if there are no further questions. I think, again, Marcus Fletcher wins, and then Jim Sokolov actually also wins, because I don't know of anyone else that's been here less than 2 years. So, and you're still on the call, which is good. And hopefully you'll be at 33 years before you know it.
awesome. I think one thing that's come up, Ken St. Hilaire is here, but there are 3 people. If anyone went to the New England Mentor Conference in August and the Sunday keynote, so you can go and watch all of the Mentor Conference sessions that were recorded. They are on our website, they're on YouTube. But one of them was someone who works at FIRST gave an update to the mentor development initiative that FIRST is working on. And so there are 3 people that, from New England that are working on or are part of their, what do they call it, external stakeholders group. So Ken is one, our first senior mentor from New Hampshire. Aaron from Team 1768 is another, and then I am one. So we've got New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. And if anyone is ever, wanting to give information back to FIRST, or if you have questions, we're here to kind of be that liaison. But FIRST is working on great ways to recognize the mentors and train mentors and recruit mentors, and that, like, they're just really focused on that. Let's see. Is there information to join that mentor group? The external stakeholders group. I don't remember how it was advertised originally, or how exactly they put it out, but First HQ did at least part of the first one, the first cohort, which started a year ago. It was in one of their emails. And then I don't know, Ken, do you remember I don't think Aaron's on to know.
Ken has also got a board meeting tonight, so I think Ken's probably gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
if-
Ken had to
if
step
you-
away at
if
7:30.
you can help us by just digging through the emails, so and like just sending out a note or another note. I assumed it's probably in one of your notes already, but just to like give us access, because I've been wanting to join that since the conference, and
Mhm.
I haven't yet. I want to just connect with other people that were there. That I have no other way to do that.
Yeah, HQ tried to make sure that they got mentors from that would, are representative of as many states and teams as they could. There are about 60 people in that group now.
Is it not in the FIRST portal? I mean, like I'm surprised it's not more commonly known, like where it is.
It's a great question. I don't remember. The people who were on it last year were asked if they wanted to return. I don't know how they then recruited additional folks. I just remember filling out a form a year ago.
yeah, whoever that was, I don't even remember his name at the conference. That one of the last speakers, he was encouraging people to join.
Israel, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, as we find out information, there's such a lot floating around that it's not terribly clear, Bob. I get that. We'll we'll try and get it onto our website as well, even with links. I don't. Sam, where's the best place to put new information so that it's not buried? Because we could bury stuff in a heartbeat, and it'll be never found for 100 years. It has to be clear.
Can you all still see my screen?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you went to the any first site and then there's Teams is right up here in the, subheader. It's not subheader because it's above like a mini nav. And so this is where I post team specific information. So like this town hall was posted here. And then there will be follow up to this with the recordings. And so anytime something is new, that this is where I'm putting it. And then this gets kind of recycled through other communication methods. Now, in this case, the mentor development initiative is something that FIRST headquarters is running and doing. So if everyone is interested in any first kind of reposting the things that first does, like that they post a lot, they email a lot. I don't want to drown out what the district is doing versus headquarters, but they do have their own communication strategies.
Picking up on a question that Manisha wrote about feedback from past event surveys, they are being channeled through Amanda Bissett and the event, I want to call it event efficiency committee or the event excellence committee. It changes. I change it all the time because trying to take the venue piece to make that a subcommittee of the event excellence committee. So that's where that lives. So that group can really talk about what our rubric of excellence, what is that, whether it's accessibility, whether it's quality of food, whether it's seating, things like that. So
Something
that's where that lives.
new last year was that the each event you could fill out a form to say what accommodation you were requesting, if you needed more accessibility seating, if whatever the thing was. And so by putting that out there, we could address the accommodations in advance. They could be planned for as opposed to a team showing up at an event and kind of asking in the moment, and maybe it's a little harder to respond that quickly, to turn it around so quickly. So by the events kind of planning ahead and getting that information ahead of time, that was something new. Something that other events ran into, if it was considered that in some of our venues, the lunchroom is a little further from the playing field than in others. And so making sure that the lunch hours are longer in those venues was something that we took into consideration. Um, we get feedback about noise levels. We get feedback about um, heat, AC, lack of AC. So, using that, like that's something that some of the events will take forward to next year of, even though it is early March, there's a lot of people in the building and we should get the AC turned on, things like that.
Yeah, and if there's any particular, so Brendan or Manisha or Brian, if there's anything specific that you're curious about, then we can certainly pick it up.
Yeah, no, nothing in particular. Was just wanted to give you all a chance to highlight that the ways that you take the feedback. So it's exciting to hear that there's the cooling will be good because the gyms do get hot, and excited to see the schedule changes. That's great. So thank you guys for being so receptive to the feedback. And just a reminder, everyone should fill out those post-event surveys. They are really important.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't know there's a problem and we don't pick it up, then it is challenging.
Mhm. And then I know there's a note in the chat about the two Connecticut events being back to back, and that is true. The alternative would have been for them to maybe run one of them concurrently with Western New England, which is, as we say, Connecticut-ish. So that would have been a different level of difficulty. And so we did kind of go this direction. It's the best way to collect information from the new alumni on what they are doing. Yeah, we love when teams stay in touch with their alumni because you may know the moment that they graduate where they're going to school or what they're doing for that year immediately following. Whether they're taking a gap year, they're going to do an apprenticeship, they're going to do an internship. You might know that at that moment. But if you don't stay in touch with them and they don't stay in touch with us, we don't know if they transfer schools, if they go to school a year or two later or 5 years later. We don't know what they do after they graduate. So at that point, they then have to kind of come back into the alumni network, whether it's the First Alumni Network or New England does have one. And so, if you stay in touch with your alumni and keep us updated, then that can help. We also, if we can get them, one of the things we'd like to do at events this year is for a few years now, when the alumni or the seniors come down to take a photo, they are handed their alumni pins at that moment. We'd like to hand out the alumni pins throughout the event as they're filling out a form that tells us how we can stay in touch with them or what they're doing. So we want to also stay in touch with the alumni.
Yeah, we just want to create a social environment. So, Tim Barron, thank you for Tim Scalzo's name. So, Tim Scalzo's got his own website. He's a savvy production electrician and aspiring lighting designer. So I just love where our students go on to, and the more we know, the more we can talk about them and celebrate them. So they're not all just going into Lockheed Martin and BAE Systems. While many of them are, they're also going off into wild and wonderful Walter Mitty type worlds. So the more we know about it, the more we can have some fun celebrating them. And actually, I reach out to, I will reach out to, have reached out to Tim. Will continue to reach out to Tim because he wants to do more in sort of a production side within the FIRST community. So thank you for that contact. And again, we'll end this for now, but we're not open 24/7, but surprisingly, we'll probably respond to you early in the morning, late at night, depending on how it when we receive it.
Awesome. We hope to see everyone in the Slack. The Slack is a great resource. It's a community resource, so there's a ton of teams in there. I think a little bit more than 800 mentors, and some are not even from New England. They may have been from New England at some point and they moved, but they're still around. So there's just a variety of teams represented. And if anyone has questions about how do other teams do X, or what should we buy about Y, like there's a channel for that. There's channels everywhere. But awesome.
Very good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us, giving us an hour of your time tonight, and we'll certainly see you around the circuit. Probably between now and November, there's enough going on that, and it's great as a recruiting tool. So I hope that you're able to get a few new students because of things that you're exploring now. And thank you again. Just a big thank you for the support that you provide your own students, the broader student base, and then New England First. So Sam and Scott and I are beholden to you guys as well because we couldn't do it without you. So appreciate your commitment and your humor as well.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.